Racing in the Canadian turf. From the middle, Silent Heart gets the first call and goes looking.
Hey, Jared Shoemaker here with Pocket Aces Racing Television on our YouTube channel. We've been on somewhat of a unintentional self-imposed hiatus. Just, lots going on, and unfortunately some of our recordings have taken a bit of a back seat to some of the other stuff that we've been doing, but hey, we're back. I'm going to try to get back on our regular monthly schedule for recaps and previews, and then get back just onto a regular recording schedule. I know we've got some other stuff coming up with our Cut the Deck series. We're headed to Gulfstream here shortly, and I think our good friend Dave Brown's going to be making some more videos and some recordings. So, but real quick, we'll just jump into our last two monthly recaps. First of all, we didn't have a whole lot going on in January, though we did have, Dominic Jack ran a really nice second down at the fairgrounds in a maiden auction race. Oathbreaker finally in his ninth start breaks his maiden at Turfway Park. We had a few other hit the board here and there, and it was a decent start to the year. And then we jumped into February, where Irish Aces kicked things off with a strong third in the Grade 3 Tampa Bay Stakes. Winner in that race happened to set, he just set a track record along the way. But it was a great effort by Irish Aces. He ran his eyeballs out like he always does, and just missed, he was only, I think, about a length or so back behind that track record. So, it was a great effort, and now he's pointed to another stakes race, which we'll mention here in a little bit. We were all very, very excited when Misty Memories made his North American racing debut at Gulfstream on February 8th. Man, I don't know that I've ever seen a race where a horse had as much trouble as he had from start to finish. And it was, even the track announcer made the comment after the race, wow, keep an eye out on Misty Memories, because he had all kinds of trouble in that trip. Unfortunately, obviously our partners know, anybody else watching this may not know, or probably doesn't know, but he suffered an accident in the barn, I guess a little bit more than a week ago now, when some hotshot Navy flyboys in their fighter jets, we believe from Homestead Air Base, decided it would be a really cool thing to do a low altitude flyover of a horse training facility, and startled several horses, in particular Misty Memories, who was in his stall at the time. He reared up, flipped over, hit his head on the wall and then the floor, and sustained some serious injuries. He's got some orbital fractures. There was some bleeding on the brainstem, they believe, all because a bunch of knucklehead flyboys thought buzzing a horse training facility would be cool and fun to do. We've tried to reach out to the Air Force Base, nobody calling us back. If you guys happen to know anybody high up in the Air Force that might be able to help us out and get us some answers on this, because right now we've got a very pretty expensive horse, at least for us, that's looking at a very long road to recovery, just to be able to live life like a horse, and with a chance that he could come back to racing. The vets have told us they've seen this before, and they've seen horses with symptoms similar to his, incidents similar to his, that have, obviously without the fighter jet part, but falling and hitting their heads, and making full recovery. But it's going to be a long road for him, and it's just such a disappointment to the partners. It's disappointing for him, because he was just, he showed a lot when we, in the first few races over in Europe, and just was so impressive in that debut here. If he'd gotten any kind of trip at all, I think he wins that race going away. Unfortunately, that's not how it worked out. Not what happened. And now, we're just got our fingers crossed and hope that with given enough time, because that's really the only remedy and only approach to fix this for him, to just give him time and allow that injury to heal naturally. We also had a very exciting debut for Temple City Taboo. She won in a maiden 35 at Gulfstream Park. Unfortunately, she got claimed on her debut. We thought going into that with a $10,000 yearling purchase. Debuting at 35,000, her first run. She'd had some good works, but it wasn't like she was just posting bullet after bullet after bullet. But somebody decided to take a shot at her at $35,000 and claimed her away from us. It's probably the most disappointed in a win I've ever been in the last 20 years. Nobody was real happy with the win, considering she got claimed away. But we're going to keep an eye on her. Maybe it makes sense sometime to go back and try to get her back. We have to see. It's also possible that she lost her best friend that day, and in her breaking her maiden, and that she is what she is, and that's the level she's going to be, and or maybe that was her Kentucky Oaks day. We don't know, but. Disappointing, regardless of where it is. But I think back. One of our longtime partners, if you've been with us anytime at all, you've heard us talk about Alan Burkhart. He had a horse that was claimed at first asking for $50,000. And, he was upset, obviously. The horse ran okay, didn't win, but ran okay. I think ran second or third, something like that, got claimed. And I don't think that she ever ended up breaking her maiden. So while it's disappointing when that happens, especially when you've been, for so long, you've been developing the horse and watching the horse grow and come around, to lose it at first asking. And that's really, we feel like that's where she needed to be. And clearly it was. She won the race by about a length, so she was in the right spot to win. So to see that happen and get claimed away, disappointing though it may be, she may have run the best race of her life that day. Maybe not. Maybe she turns into a world beater. We don't know, and only time will tell if this was a good thing or if this was a disaster. But we do know that it hurts right now, and it's disappointing right now, and we'll just have to see how the future plays out. Diamond Eye Jack ran again. We came in as a favorite down at Fairgrounds in a maiden auction. Ended up running third. That was a race that Brennan had been wanting to get him on the grass for a little while, but it never did. That was a grass race that got rained off, so he was back on the dirt. Maybe it was a drying track and it was sticky or whatever. Or maybe he just didn't run his race that day. Ben Curtis was on him and said he just didn't seem like he was that engaged. So we're going to try to get him back in and get him on the grass in March. We got some breeding news. We have a new Drain the Clock colt who is absolutely gorgeous. And he came a couple days late, a couple days beyond his due date. But man, he is a big, leggy colt, weighed in at 132 pounds, and just super, super nice. I saw him, I think probably 4 days old, and he was outside in the snow running all over the paddock. Just, really what you want to see. And the first thing that Nicky Drion, whose farm where he is, said, man, you got to be happy with this one. He's a really nice looking colt. Homer Angel is going to go back to the breeding shed here within the next couple weeks, we hope. She's going to go to Blazing Sevens. If you saw an article in the Thoroughbred Daily News earlier in the week featuring Mark Wampler and written by our own Patty Szpyra. I think I say it right. For however many years now, I still mess up per saying her last name. And anyway, she wrote a fantastic article, talking to Mark and about his breeding plans for not only Pocket Aces Racing, but for some of his other clients. And so you can check out that article. Maybe Patty, on when she's editing this video, can put a link to it in there. I don't know. But anyway, we've also got Spellbook going to go to Blazing Sevens here. We hope. Actually, she went to Blazing Sevens last week. Get to check, I guess, next week to see if she is indeed pregnant. It was a successful cover. And then we've also, we managed to buy Wendy Luhu back. Wendy Luhu is a mare that won a stakes race for us several years ago. She won over around $300,000 or so for us in multiple races. She was bred by trainer Susan Anderson, and we raced her in partnership with Susan. And we saw her go in for a cheap tag up at Charlestown, West Virginia, and we thought she deserved much better than that. Or I think it's Charlestown, right? Is that right? Charlestown. And we thought she deserved better than that, and thought she would make it. We had plans to breed her before. We actually had her booked to Nashville when she got claimed away from us for 25,000 back a couple years ago. And so as soon as we saw her, we reached out to the connections, made an offer, and we were able to work out a deal. She's going to be going to Arabian Lion here as soon as she's ready. Arabian Lion is a good-looking colt of a good-looking son of Justify, grade 1 runner, really nice stallion prospect, and really looking forward to. We were happy to get into him there at the last minute. We claimed a horse in February too, Kitadan, who sold out immediately. Claimed him from Turfway, out of a race at Turfway Park. Looked like a horse. He's a little bit older, but he's got a ton of back class, and looks like maybe he just needed a bit of a break. They had him running on the Tapeta, which probably not his best surface. But now, and we felt like get him on the grass would be a great opportunity for him, and give him a little time off and let him catch his breath a little bit, because it looks like he's been at the track for probably 18 to 24 months. So been there a long time, and so give him just a real short little breather and get him on the grass. And we claimed him with Brendan Walsh. Brendan does not claim very many horses, but Mark sent him the PPs, and he looked those over, and then Mark called him, and Brendan didn't hesitate. Let's do it. And he sold out within a matter of, in less than probably 16 hours or so, he was sold out. Still looking to claim some other horses. We're recording this on the 28th of February, and we're going to try to claim one tonight. I'll keep that one to myself until later. Hopefully we'll get it. We've lost several horses here to claim. Oathbreaker got claimed from us in his last start. Obviously, we already mentioned Temple City Taboo, and we just feel like we need to get a couple more horses in to replace them, and I shouldn't say replace them, but to take their spot in the stable, because people like Oathbreaker, as goofy and silly as he could be, I know a lot of the partners loved him, and then Temple City Taboo, as we've addressed that already. So we're not replacing them, but we are looking to put some horses in their spots in the stable. So the big preview for March is on Saturday, March 1st. Irish Aces is going to be in the Canadian Turf Grade 3 down at Gulfstream Park. Tyler Gaffleone is on. Unfortunately, we're in the rail post, but that is what it is. Can't do anything about that. And hopefully he just gets out of there well and can sit off the lead and not be too covered up, and be able to kick outside at the end and try to make a big run through the lane, and hopefully finally break through with that grade that grade 3 win. Some other little tidbits. I don't. It's possible that we see a Secret Flame debut in March. That may be a little bit early, but I know it's a possibility. I know Mark and Dermot were thrilled with her work this week at the Thoroughbred Center. She outworked a horse that had already run a couple times, and outworked her pretty easily. So that's a possibility. And of course, we're gearing up towards the Keeneland meet, hoping to have several runners there. We know Oscar season is likely to run there in April. And then, of course, we're gearing up towards our April open house. And I know some dates had been tossed around. At one point, we thought we were going to do it on the weekend of April 12th, but it is officially on April 3rd now. And we'll be getting all that information out to you. I'm sorry, April 5th. We're having on April 3rd, we're going to be having a little fundraiser for the Permanently Disabled Jockey Fund, and we'll have some more information coming out about that. So that is it for our January and February recap, and our March and even a little bit of April preview. So thanks for joining us. Apologize we've been away for so long, but we are committed to doing things better and more often and more frequently, and just appreciate you guys being patient with us as we get ourselves adjusted to this new for us medium. So thanks much, and everyone have a fantastic and happy day. We'll see you at the races.